Thank you, James. Like drivers on our wintry roads, both Paul McLean and Peter DeBoer say their teams are looking for traction. And a second straight victory here tonight. First visit and only visit by the Senators to the Rock in New Jersey. Mike Johnson between the benches.
Both teams trying to find some consistency, start stringing some games together, because in the East, just a few good games will get you climbing up the charts pretty quickly. Bobby Ryan for the Ottawa Senators has been everything they could have hoped him to be, and he is now on their number one line with Kyle Turris. And he came off another good game against the St. Louis Blues. And as a sign of respect, the New Jersey Devils go with their checking centerman, which is Patrick Elias, usual winger throughout most of his career, now playing center because they want him around the puck more often. And he draws the assignment of checking this Kyle Turris line to start the game.
Bobby Ryan getting a lot of attention, a native of Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and the leading scorer for the Ottawa Senators with Kyle Turris and Mika Zibanejad. 5-2. The Senators won the first meeting of the year. 40 stops for Craig Anderson, but as James Duthie mentioned, it is Robin Leonard tonight against Marty Brodeur. Here's Marek Zidlicky pushing the puck to the right wing. Damian Brunner can't get it out. First shot right on is a easy stop for Brodeur. And now Adam Henrique starts out. The former Windsor Spitfire gets it to Brunner, trying to charge through. Damian Brunner with a pair of goals in a 3-0 win in the last game for New Jersey on Saturday. It'll be played back to the point and sent back in deep. Andy Green plays it around, and now Zidlicky moves down the wall to try and hold the zone. Interesting to see how New Jersey starts. Finally got a little break from a busy schedule. Here's a shot knocked down en route. And actually had a couple of days of practice, so we'll see what Peter DeBoer has been able to implement. But now it's Erik Karlsson leading the rush. Going to the net, Zidlicky picked him up, and a penalty is upcoming against New Jersey. So it's going to be a power play for the Senators just over a minute in.
It's going to be Zidlicky heading off for the hook. And the Ottawa Senators go to the early power play. As Zidlicky gets caught trying to play on two-on-two with Turris and Karlsson. And the speed of Karlsson puts him in a tough spot here. See him driving through the center there, and he just stick right through the midsection. And Erik Karlsson, late in the shift, still has the wheels to draw a penalty.
So an early power play for Ottawa, ranked 15th in the league against the 4th best penalty kill unit. Here's Jason Spezza, puts it in front. Brodeur squeezed the pads, and it leaked out wide of the net. It'll come back to Karlsson, who drew the penalty. Spezza returns it, and 65 shot is blocked by Zubras and cleared by Zajac.
Zubras got that one right in the open palm of his left hand. Let's see if he shakes that one off. Let's see some of the bench grimacing.
Devils have surrendered just 3 goals on home ice on the power play this year. Karlsson's back in, slides it through for McCulloch. Around it goes. MacArthur left it there, and Corvo at the right point funnels it back in wide of the net. Former Senator Volchenkov bounces it through, and here's Henrique. A 2-on-1 developing with Giotta. Giotta scores! Short-handed. It is returned to the lineup. First game in 12, and he has the icebreaker here in New Jersey.
Stephen Giotta, as if their penalty kill needed a boost. They get one with his return. Joe Corvo sells out to keep this puck in, but you either have to get the puck or the body. He gets neither. Nice play by Adam Henrique, freezing Karlsson, sliding it through to Giotta, who takes his time and slips it through Robin Leonard. Henrique head up the whole way, letting Giotta catch him up, but nice little no-look pass, and against the grain through the 5-hole. Good finish by Stephen Giotta. But it all comes from a bad decision by Joe Corvo at the offensive blue line. Bounce a puck like that, at times it's better to just retreat and keep the puck alive in the neutral zone than give up a clean 2-on-1.
There's another one of those early goals that the Ottawa Senators have surrendered, and they'll have to chase the game once again, but they remain on the power play. The 3rd shorthanded goal of the year for New Jersey, and the 1st goal of the season for Stephen Giotta in his return from a sprained ankle. Here's Cody Ceci, the hero of Monday night in that victory over St. Louis. He'll flip it deep. Chris Neal chasing it down, took a hit, and now comes up with a puck. Zach Smith, Colin Greening out, and that got past Cece and slides back down in the Ottawa zone. Couple dozen seconds remaining in this opening power play. Here's Patrick Wirkosh. Colin Greening to the line. Giunta back out there as Greening's after it. Bumps into his man. Condra got a stick up, got away with that as Giunta checks for blood, and the puck slides down the ice, and Zidlinski's back out.
That wasn't a stick that caught Giunta in the face. That was a skate.
Here's Zidlinski out of the penalty box, and a shot goes wide. Any damage done down there?
No, he's still got the flawless face going.
Here's John Merrill, picked up by Ryder, a quick shot on Robin Leonard. Michael Ryder swoops behind the net. Now he'll cycle it back, it'll be played to the point. Mark Fain shot, deflecting off a stick and wide. Reed Boucher's on the ice, the former member of the Sarnia Sting, a youngster just called up this month and looking for his first NHL goal. Locktianov with the fan and then played it back to the point, nobody home. It'll be drifted back in off the stick of Zidlinski. Carlson surveys, and now he'll skate ahead, lost an edge, and look out. He'll get back on his feet, and Ottawa gets possession of the puck. Turris inside the line. Ryan sidesteps a hit from big Eric Jelena. Zibanejad in deep, and now Ryan joins the fray, trying to dig it out of there. Bobby Ryan with 9 road goals on the season. Along the boards, Turris looks for it. It'll be played back to the point. Cowan across. Carlson shot in front, and it's knocked down by Zidlinski. Turris finds it in the corner. Back for Cowan. Across for Carlson. That shot, and it whistled high and up onto the netting.
It's been an eventful first period for Steven Giunta. First game back after missing 11. Gets a shorthanded goal, and there he gets, you see the heel of the skate of Eric Condra come up, and so dangerous. Blade, of course, but also the tuck holders, the white parts of a skate are about as hard as a substance as you're going to have on the ice, and anytime you get hit one of those, they do major damage. And Giunta came to the bench, rolling his eyes, saying, thank goodness, missed that one.
Face-off win for Jason Spezza, but the Devils are able to get it out and down the ice. Corvo back in his own zone. Henrique on the forecheck, but cleanly out come the Senators. Spezza looking for Clark MacArthur on the left wing, and he'll backtrack it into Ottawa territory. That puck did come outside the line and called on the offside. Our game plan brought to you by Tim Hortons, official coffee of the NHL.
The Ottawa Senators talk about it all the time, being ready to start the game. Well, they're down 1 on a shorthander, only 5 minutes in, so they have some work to do. And for the New Jersey Devils, focus on the forecheck, getting in there, turning pucks over, forcing Ottawa to play on their own end. They want to be aggressive and fast. They feel that's when they play their best.
Zach Smith's line is out for Ottawa as Brodeur comes out to play it, as he does so effectively. Marty Brodeur playing in game number 1240, 678 wins, and posted his 124th shutout on Saturday night against Tampa. Good lead feed onto the tape for Smith, drops it off, and Greening a shot, testing Brodeur. You know, some guys are first ballot Hall of Famers, and some guys like Marty Brodeur shouldn't have to wait until they retire to get in the Hall of Fame.
He deserves waiving the 3-year wait time, get him right to the front of the line. What a career he's having, still having.
Corvo with an outlet, it'll be chopped by Pajot rolling down the ice, and that's an icing call against Ottawa.
And Marty Brodeur continues to play very well for New Jersey, coming fresh off a shutout against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And if you can believe it, in his last 17 shutouts, the first time he's had to make more than 30 saves, made 33 against Tampa. And the goaltending situation in New Jersey, which you knew would be a delicate one with Corey Schneider coming in here, has worked out pretty well as both guys have played well.
And the Devils have not allowed a goal in over 5 periods. They lost a game against Pittsburgh, giving up 3 in the first, and then shut the Penguins down for 2 periods in Tampa on Saturday night for 60.
Corey Schneider's Gotta be thinking this is Groundhog Day for me. I've been here before with an established #1 that I'm trying to supplant. And Marty Brodeur even more firmly entrenched here than Luongo was in Vancouver.
So we talked about the 41-year-old goaltender. There's the 41-year-old leading scorer, Jaromir Jagr, on the ice with Zajac and Zubris. Out against Pajot, along with Conacher and Condren. Senators want to make a change. Conacher in deep in New Jersey ice, and now picked off by Jagr, and back comes Zajac. He'll flip it in, and after it goes Zubris, who had a pair of goals the other night, 3 in his last 2. Old line mate of Jaromir Jagr's from their days in Washington together. Here's Jagr behind the net, like Spezza trying to bump a goal-scoring slump. Zajac comes up with it. Cowan watching him. Jagr tries to run some interference for Travis Zajac at the point, and that one gets by Volchenkov, who seemed handcuffed by the pass. Merrill plays it back in. Now it's centered. It gets past Iliash. Back to the point. John Merrill's shot knocked down by Zibanejad. Adam Henrique's on it. Another Devil looking to end a slump. Played to this near side. The rookie Merrill put it right on. Taken high by Leonard. Point feed is intercepted by Zibanejad, and now to the attack come the Senators. Ryan through with a pass for Turris. Busted up there by John Merrill. Merrill and Eric Jelena, late additions to this team after training camp, and it looks like they're securing jobs on the back line for Peter DeBoer.
Nice luxury to have 2 rookies coming in and playing very well. Different kind of players. Jelena for the offense, Merrill more focused on defensive game.
Here's Michael Ryder. Back to the point. Shot is knocked down by the veteran Chris Phillips, and he'll roll it right down on Marty Brodeur. Mark Fane as Clark MacArthur checks in along with McCulloch and Spezza. Pass ahead for Ryder, and the Devils advance. Here's a quick shot, and let it out beyond the blue paint to stop that. Reed Boucher let that one go. 90 goals in his last 2 years in Sarnia. He broke Steven Stamkos' Sting goal-scoring record there. Like we're here on December 4th, Boucher's first game in the NHL, and he was the first man called up in the shootout against the Canadiens. They didn't tell him till right before he had to go out to shoot. So he didn't think about it too much, and he didn't. He just went out there and beat Carey Price for a goal in the shootout. Here's a shot on Brodeur with Chris Neal in front of the net, and Brodeur stops that. It's 1-0 here in Jersey on a shorthanded goal by Steven Gionta. The NHL on TSN is brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
And Paul McLean may look calm, but he is already doing a slow burn under that face. He's been barking at his bench, trying to get them going, trying to get them skating, involved physically. As once again, he's not pleased with the start of the Sens.
Talked this morning about dictating the way they did against St. Louis, felt they were aggressive, and yet he said against New Jersey, you've got to be patient, and I wondered if those two mesh together.
Trying to find that balancing act. Controlled aggression.
Here's Carlson, nifty move. Erik Karlsson with the shot that is blocked there by big Eric Jelena, who knocks him down. As Karlsson did some dancing off the line, but now New Jersey to the attack. Here's Gionta. Karlsson in pursuit and makes the defensive play. Took a high stick as well. Undetected, and Karlsson back to work on the offensive side. And that one deflecting off Volchenkov wide of the net. So a couple of attempts by Karlsson, but unable to get the shot through. Back comes Jagr. Jaromir Jagr shifting gears and knocked off stride by Zach Smith. At the point, here's Merrill. Looks for a shooting lane and finds it with a shot right on Robin Leonard.
Erik Karlsson will play half the game and he'll play it very well. And if you're playing left wing against Erik Karlsson, you have to understand that you need to give him some respect and cannot bite his shot fakes. Yeah, you got to get in the shot lane, but you can't sell out like Bernier does there, because Karlsson head up the whole time will make you look foolish like he just did at Bernier. He puts so much pressure on the winger to stay in front of him, and all there is the ice.
3 points, a +3 in the last meeting against New Jersey. Here's Volchenkov from a sharp angle with the shot. Leonard holds the post. Devils up with the puck. Yager tries to center. Turris intercepts but gives it back. Zajac flips it ahead. Zuber spotted there by Zibanejad along the boards. Zuber stayed on it. Merrill moves up, walks in and fires, and Leonard with the stop, and Ryan sweeps away the rebound as Leonard fell in the crease. Was he knocked down? Didn't see the end of that play, but Leonard had sprawled after making the save. A little slow to get up. Now Mark Fane bounces it wide of the net, and Corvo's on it for Ottawa. Gets rid of it just outside the line, and Ottawa will come up with it and regroup. Past the midway mark of this first period. Shots 9 for New Jersey, and Spencer tipped it wide, plays it back into the blue paint. And Brodeur will hang on. Still 1-0 New Jersey here in the first.
Jaromir Jagr, 41 years old, obviously a creature of habit. And we had to time code this one because he's got so many options. He's got his 4 sticks out there for warm-up. And he's just checking out which one. How's it look? How's it feel? Which one do I want? Take a couple shots, couple stick handles before eventually settling in on the keeper. Then he heads off the bench, and there you see his sticks at the end of the line. Now, Jaromir Jagr is not the tallest guy on the team, but his sticks are by far the longest. And a discussion on the merits of it before the game, but there's no question that relative to his height, he used an incredibly long stick.
Well, they worked 692 goals for Jaromir Jagr. Tied with Steve Yzerman. Next up on the list, Mark Messier at 694. Carlson leads another attack. Return pass into his skates behind the net. And it'll be played back to the point. Cowan rifles it wide. Rebound to Carlson. Tried the quick pass. That doesn't work. And the Devils will relieve the pressure and flip it out. And Bruner will give chase. And Jared Cowan gets back. Around for Clark MacArthur. Up for Zach Smith. That doesn't work. And the Devils will take over with Zidlinski. Flipping it inside the line. Knocked down by Chris Neal. Zidlinski once again. Chased back by Smith. He gave it away. And Smith will take it and put the shot right on. Boy, Marek Zidlinski with a brain cramp inside the line.
There's a stick handle gone wrong, trying to pull it away from Smith, just dropped it right onto his blade.
And it goes, and Brodeur will fire it off the glass, nearly pulled down there by Neal. An Ottawa player falls, and out comes Loktionov with Ryder and Eric Gelinas. He's got a cannon. Who's puck scores? And Reed Boucher has his first National Hockey League goal.
Boucher, the beneficiary of what Paul McLean thinks is a blown call. Joe Corvo right there gets tripped up from behind by Michael Ryder. That cues up the 4-on-3. Gelinas jumps in the rush, misses the net, but Boucher takes the heavy care of off the backboards and makes no mistake. Good stop-up play, and Gelinas could certainly bring the heat. And Boucher stick on the ice there to clean up the mess. No chance for Leonard or Wiercross there.
So the kid has his first in the big leagues at 10 in 21 games in the American Hockey League. Mentioned that he scored 90 goals in Sarnia. Former teammate of Alex Galchenyuk and Neil Yakupov in Sarnia. And the Devils looking for a little more offense. Get it from Reed Boucher and a 2-0 lead here in the first period. Now it's swept in front once again. Hadn't scored. This is his 7th game, first goal. Peter DeBoer was actually really pleased with the way Boucher had played defense, and that's why they stuck with him in the lineup even without the instant offensive production. Now Corey Conacher trying to center.
Well, you know, Boucher is starting to feel a little pressure. He thinks of himself as a goal scorer, always has been, knows he will need to score at the NHL level to play here. So to get one will certainly calm his nerves.
Now played off Leonard to the line. It'll be held in by Fane. So is this a rested team with a couple of practices under their belt, or is this just another slow starting Ottawa Senators team?
Right now it looks like a slow starting Senators team. I know the Devils are moving in on the forecheck, engaged physically, but Ottawa's got to get a lot cleaner with their puck management and not give New Jersey the easy forecheck they've gotten in this first period so far.
Gave up 3 first period goals on Saturday afternoon against the Los Angeles Kings. Here's Jagr. Up ahead for Zajac over the line. Dropped for Jagr. Tried to slide it through, and Phillips breaks that up. Another dangerous looking New Jersey attack. Zubers up high. It'll be swung down low, and there's Jelena. And you saw evidence of that big shot from Eric Jelena, the native of Vanier, Quebec. Here's a pass for Zubers. Able to hold it in the zone. Dainis Zubers, the former Pembroke Lumber King. For Jagr off the boards. Tracked by Ryan. It's out in front, and a glove swipe from Robin Leonard to hold that out. But Reed Boucher from Jelena and locked the on off, and it's 2-0 New Jersey.
Reed Boucher gets his first ever National Hockey League goal, but the 2 participants most involved, Mike Ryder and Joe Corvo. Ryder coming in to his wing here. Watch his stick just poke on the back ankle of Joe Corvo. Now he's down and he is out. He cannot get back up, and the play goes right forward. He's stuck lying on the ground. Mike Ryder gets the pass, eventually kicks it back to Jelena, who shoots wide for the goal, but that is just a missed call. Tough break for the Senators and Joe Corvo, because that should have been a tripping penalty.
And you're right, Ryder does get the assist. They originally gave it to Locktiana, but Michael Ryder and Jelena figure in the scoring on the first NHL goal for Reed Boucher, a Michigan native. Puck flipped out, and now Damian Brunner goes after it. 41 goals against in the opening period for Ottawa this year. Here's MacArthur with a chance, and a big stop by Brodeur as he came outside the crease to make that stop. 41 goals against in the opening period is a league high, and why the Senators have had to chase the game so often this year so far. But here comes Carlson back. He's been skating well in this period, and with that shot off target, it'll come around and be held in by Greening. Off Chris Neal. They work in the corner. Zach Smith's in there. Now along the boards, Phillips tries to hold it. Backed up by Greening. He'll send it in deep. Smith's on it on the other side. Back to the point. Ceci off a leg, and that bounces across in front of the net. Mark Payne trying to tie up Greening. Neal looks for a loose puck. Try to work it free, and it's played out by Locktiana. Ceci sends it back across with just over 4 minutes left in this opening period. A short-handed goal by Giunta, his first of the year, and Boucher has the first of his career. Now John Merrill to the red line. He'll fire it in. Devils in the midst of a change as Ceci gives it to the veteran Phillips. Here's Conacher flipping it down the ice, and Condra's after it. Condra gets there first, plays it back into the corner. On the near side, it's Pajot looking for it in front of the net, bouncing high. Condra reached for it, but the Devils able to clear. And Jagr lost the handle, but backed up by Zubers. He gets checked. Good back pressure there by the Senators. Caused the turnover. Now they counter. Conacher in front, and Pajot has it knocked away by Merrill. Good work on the counter by that fourth line, and now Conacher heads to the bench. Out comes Bobby Ryan. Errant pass slides the length of the ice, and an icing call against Ottawa.
Ottawa's best chances right here. McCulloch dances at Litschke in the neutral zone, kicks it over MacArthur, who goes top shoulder of Brodeur, and he makes a nice save coming out. I'm just getting a sense of how fast Erik Karlsson, this is game speed, going up against the neutral zone forecheck, and he's just blowing by everybody. And because he has so much speed, you get so much respect from the defensive team that they just end up backing off, giving him more space. And it's also the point now where you got to get a shadow on Erik Karlsson. Just assign someone to keep in front of him as best they can when he's out there. He is so important to the offense of Ottawa.
Like the way Paul McLean said it, he was skating like James Norris. Not sure James Norris skated that well.
I doubt that very much. He is effortless, and He manages minutes. Not easy for a guy as small as him to play 30 minutes as a defenseman, but he does it with ease.
Ryan shovels it from the slot, knocked away from Turris, and Ottawa will have to go back to get it. Need something positive here in the late stages of this first period. Andy Green starts the breakout for the Devils, neatly ahead, and here's Zajac over the line, dropping it for Jágr. That long reach, but Spencer has long reach as well, and he came up with a puck. And it slid back into Devils ice. Fresh troops out for Ottawa as Green skates in. Zubras on his backhand sends it across, and Jágr couldn't knock it down, and away goes Spezza. Over the line, it'll be dropped back. Chris Phillips is in the rush. Phillips played it to the short side. Check that, Zach Smith in front now. Neal turned and off a skate just wide. Merrill has it. He played it to the line, but not out. Ceci looks to get a shooting lane and fired it wide. Neal plays it off target. Comes around for Ceci. A little push here by Ottawa. Here in the late stages of the opening period, Phillips moves down again. Merrill up with it, loose in front, and New Jersey is able to get it out. Now Ryder after it, he's got a break. Ryder snaps it, and that goes high up onto the netting. Well, this Christmas Eve, the holiday tradition continues with SportsCenter Year in Review presented by PokerStars.net. Jen and Dutch count down the top 10 highlights, lowlights, sound bites, and sports stories of 2013. Tune in this Christmas Eve at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on TSN.
And you're right, Chris, a little push here by Ottawa, trying to get something positive, certainly on the scoreboard, or at least some momentum heading in the first intermission.
80 seconds remained when the face-off was taken in the Ottawa zone. 10-7 the shots on goal. Ottawa with 12 consecutive games of at least 32 shots. That's a franchise high, but they're against a team that allows the fewest. A rebound here, and Leonard kicked it out and then was in trouble there. Boucher had a chance for a second rebound goal here in the opening period. Another shot goes wide. Final minute as it's dropped back near the line for Ryder. Slides it through. Latiana swings it back to Merrill. Was looking on the left side. Zidlinsky will backtrack, and Carlson with an outlet starts Ottawa back to the attack and center. Eric Condra into New Jersey ice, and that ramps off a stick and onto the netting with 34 seconds left here in the first.
Well, we've seen Boucher grab a rebound goal from the right side of the break. Now he almost gets one on the left side. Good shot by Ryder on the pads of Leonard. Kicks out right to Boucher. He's going to bury that one top shelf. And Aaron Carlson with a desperation swipe chips it up and over. But it's amazing for goal scorers. You need a goal for some confidence, and once you get one, all of a sudden the puck starts finding you, and you start getting some chances that you didn't think were coming before you got that first one.
Face-off win by the Senators. Corbo can't get it through. It's an area that Ottawa should dominate here tonight. In the face-off circle, the fourth best team in the league. And the Devils last in that department, and Ottawa has won 11 of the first 15 draws in the game. Clock draining here in the opening period. One last attack for Ilias, deflected right on by Henrique. Good save there by Robin Leonard. Bobby Ryan going to get time? No, as the shot at the horn. And the opening period decisively in favor of the Devils. Giotto short-handed. Boucher adds, and it's 2-0 after one as we join James Duthie.
Want to get pucks in deep, try to get that initial turnover, and then they use the size of some of their big forwards, especially that first line with Zajac and Zubras and Jágr, to lean on Ottawa and just carry time of possession. Don't even have to break them down for great chances, but the best defense is a good offense in this situation where you're playing in the offensive zone and able to make some plays and gain touches in a low-stress game for Marty Brodeur and the defensemen. But they've also aided a little bit with Ottawa's puck management as they turned some pucks over and gave second and third possession opportunities to New Jersey, making the offensive zone time even greater than it would have been. And because of that couple early goals by those two have got the Devils up 2-0.
So the Senators have to play catch-up tonight. Both coaches really put a lot of importance on this game. They were talking about 4-pointers. You don't often hear that before Christmas, but a couple of evenly matched teams trying to gain ground on the 8th-seeded Toronto Maple Leafs. Here is Jagr playing it right, a shot right on, and Leonard stopping Zidlinsky with a delayed penalty. Brodeur was sprinting to the bench, and it will be a holding call against Ottawa that will give New Jersey an early power play here to start the second period.
Problems to start the period once again for Ottawa as breakdowns in the neutral zone. And Jaromir Jagr may not be able to skate like he wants to, but he certainly is as strong. And Bobby Ryan, big and strong on his own, can only get stuck on Jagr's back, grabs it with both open hands and takes an early holding penalty. And at this stage of the game, this is a very big kill for Ottawa.
Face-off won by Elias. Andy Green's at the point along with Zidlinsky. Chris Phillips will chip it ahead. And Pajot works it to the line and does get it out. So Pajot and Condra would start, but now they head off, and the second penalty kill tandem comes on, Greening and McCulloch. It'll be a left wing pass for Elias into the zone. 950 career NHL points for the veteran. And here's Jagr, all-time leading scorer against the Ottawa Senators. Pass across and a nice stop there by Leonard. And the Senators clear.
On that play there, it's just got to be shoot to score for Andy Green. No screen, no tips. And he just got that a little bit higher in the net to beat Leonard.
Knocked out by Phillips. Here's Zidlinsky over the line, sending it in. It ricocheted right to Leonard. Off the boards, and Greening will send it 200 feet. Now John Merrill's back. Damian Brunner winding up as he gathers speed and takes the pass. Cross for Henrique. And that was slowed up by Turris. Puts the play offside.
Big save early by Robin Leonard here in the second. You see Elias on the strong side of the net. It goes D to D, one-timer. Elias is sealed off, so it's just shooter and goal, and Robin Leonard makes the easy push, gets his pad down. But if that is about 4 inches higher above the pad, the save becomes that much more difficult for Robin Leonard. Andy Green's got to elevate that a little bit more.
Devils have struggled on the power play at home, just 4. Check that, 3 power play goals on the season on home ice. John Merrill gets things organized. Henrique down the ice along with Brunner over the line. And once again, New Jersey can't get over the line. And now under a half minute remaining in the Ryan Minor.
Damian Brunner full of speed here. John Merrill winds it up, and he wants to hit Brunner with a lateral pass so that he can drive this wide, but he keeps taking this back to the middle inside Condra. If he steps outside, he's going to blow by Condra on the speed, and then he'll have an easy ladder play with Jared Cowan, the defender. He keeps taking it into the heart of the defense. Turn it over once, causing offside the second time.
Senators won 73% of the draws in the first period, win a face-off there, and this should be the last rush with the man advantage for New Jersey. Jagr scores! Jaromir Jagr left uncovered, and his goal-scoring slump ends in 8 games. Number 693 for number 68.
Busted coverage for Ottawa on the PPA right off the entry. We just showed Brunner taking the middle. Well, this is how you take it wide. That's a defense in Andy Green. That's the ladder play we're talking about. He gets support to the inside, kicked right down to Jaromir Jagr, and the over pursuit by the Ottawa Senator leaves Jaromir Jagr wide open in front. He's there with a quick backhand to shovel it past Robin Leonard, and that pushes him past Steve Yzerman with 693, 8th alone in the all-time goals list.
One back of Mark Messier. Jagr from Zajac and Green, his team leading 12th of the year. The 20-year veteran at age 41. And his 37th career goal against the Ottawa Senators. He did most of that damage as a Pittsburgh Penguin. 29 goals in 36 games as a Penguin against Ottawa. So it's a bigger hill to climb for the Senators, who came on against Los Angeles after falling behind 3-0 on Saturday. Let's see if they can get their game back in order here. Colin Greening starts out, pass off the boards. It'll find McCulloch in deep. Zibanejad goes to the net. Phillips puts it in front. Greening whacks away. Puck still loose. Greening keeps whacking at it, and finally Brodeur will find it and cover it.
Jaromir Jagr, what a season he's having for New Jersey, leading them in scoring. 12 goals now, and look at that list. As he passes Yzerman, he will pass Messier shortly, and that is the who's who of all-time great offensive players in the NHL. And it's amazing that a guy of his caliber going to leave him all alone in front of the net. Doesn't do much with it. Quick hands to shovel it underneath Leonard, and that third goal is huge for New Jersey.
Well, the penalty kill had really given them nothing until that last rush. And then the breakdown that puts them down by 3, and Leonard will cover up as that one rolls right onto the Ottawa net.
Chris Neil right now trying to get something going for Ottawa. Grabbing a hold of Cam Janssen, and Cam Janssen not going to give him the opportunity to get his team going. Well, and he skates away. Wants to engage on his own terms right here.
You know, Mike, you noticed that the other night, as soon as Chris Stewart put those 2 quick goals together, Chris Neil started to stir things up, ended up fighting Barrett Jackman early in the third period to get a little energy back for Ottawa.
Janssen gets to the bench, Pete DeBoer goes right down to him, telling him he made the right decision. Sometimes tough guys like that, a little positive affirmation when you skate away, because you know he doesn't want to.
He's only been in 1 fight so far this season, Cam Janssen. Chris Neil in 9 for the Senators so far this year. Here's Brodeur with a quick up, trying to hit Reed Boucher, the youngster. Now Turris will start things back. His pass knocked down. And here comes Boucher back in with Ryder, and Turris takes it away. Bobby Ryan overskates it, but Turris follows up. Got it to Ryan, but the play offside on the wing, and a late shot in on Brodeur might get a little attention.
Brodeur gives him the smile. That's not going to bother him. Marty Brodeur, well known to be the greatest puck handling goalie we've ever seen. And look at him just maneuver around the trapezoid, pull it back out front, across the line, give him lots of room to pass it on up for the quick break. And he has made the adjustment quickly to the trapezoid there as he moves through that one without thinking, effortlessly getting it back out in front for the quick up.
Carlson flips it in. Corey Conacher goes after it. Fane to Green. And just like that, New Jersey's out. Zubras rink wide. Off the skeet to Jagr. Big Jared Cowan has trouble with it as it ricocheted in front of the net. And now the captain takes over. Up for Carlson. Knocked off his stick before he could get going. And they turn it over at center, and nearly getting loose was Zajac. Cowan will try it again. Jagr hounded him. Jagr came up with it, but that pass for Zajac intercepted by McCulloch, and we've got a penalty pending against New Jersey.
That's me, Zajac. Going for interference on McCulloch. As turnover at the offensive blue line. Zajac gets in a tough spot. McCulloch chips it by him, and he's not going to win this race, so he steps in and tries to be subtle about it, but McCulloch does a good job moving his feet, drawing the penalty. And the Ottawa Senators need to get one here, get something positive going to work their way back in the game. Only 1 shot so far in the second period.
0 for 14 in the last 5 games. The Senators need a power play here, and Zibanejad will dig in on this faceoff. It'll be won by Giunta. Fired around the boards and down the ice. Corvo and Carlson out on this power play, along with Zibanejad, McCulloch, and Greening. Greening takes the drop. Zibanejad fires it around. It reaches Carlson at the left point. Milan McCulloch. Corvo cheating down. Now out of the corner, Zibanejad. Back for Carlson. Middle of the ice. No shot. Now a shot scored on the tip. and a power play goal gets Ottawa on the board.
That's exactly what Ottawa needed there. Well executed, a bit of a disjointed combination, one that doesn't see too much time together, but Colin Greening out in front and Zibanejad working the half wall. And Zibanejad kicks it back to Karlsson, works his way back to the top of the circle, and Greening does a nice job sliding over, getting right in the shooting lane, stick on the ice, and I think that one clips off Greening's stick here. He's got one job, stand in front, hang in there, and good hands there, tip it up and over off the bar. And when you're calling Greening, you get in the power play, go stand in front of the net, you do just that, you can get rewarded.
Picking up 6'3", 210. He has his third goal of the year. They've all come on the road, and that was a big power play goal that we'll see if it does spark Ottawa. Now Karlsson back in his own zone, around to the near side for Ryan. Up past Turris, and it will roll the length of the ice, but right on Marty Brodeur. 6 minutes into this second period. Stopped up at center ice was Damian Brunner as Ryan slowed up his progress. Now over the line, Laciana with the shot, and Leonard pulls that in and will cover up. But maybe a spark for Ottawa provided by Colin Greening. A power play goal for the Senators on the board here in Jersey.
McLean sees his team get one. He wants to encourage them to pick up their play to try to get some more. And during the last TV timeout, he gets the board over there, and he's got the whole team gathered around like it's a timeout. And he's got the chalkboard out. Dave Cameron, he follows up the instructions with some fire, telling the boys to get moving. As Ottawa still trying to find their best game and some consistency game to game, so they can start stringing some wins together.
So Greening's third. Zibanejad and Karlsson draw the assists, and for Erik Karlsson, he has now moved into a tie with Duncan Keith, 32 points, leading all NHL defensemen in that department. A hot pass from Zibanejad for Greening that was tough to handle. Andy Green off the boards and out, and away goes Michael Ryder. Here's Ryder firing it, and that's high and wide. It'll ricochet all the way up to center. Spezza's on it. Greening driving to the net, and Spezza can't get it across against Payne. Zibanejad was loose in front of the net. And now trying to close quickly on Reed Boucher as Greening bumps him in front of the Devils bench. Sense a little momentum shift here.
Trying to get something going. New Jersey started turning some pucks over, and Michael Ryder chased a high, wide shot, stealing a 2-on-2. Give Ottawa some rush chances. They'll get some positive momentum in their game.
Here's Zach Smith dogging on the forecheck along with Condra in the corner. And now it's Sidlinski. He lost it, and Condra comes up with it at the point. Here's Corbo, a shot through a screen. Brodeur finds it and holds it, and Chris Neal causes a commotion in front.
Jansen and Neal seem to find each other once again. No, by coincidence there, but talk momentum. This is the forecheck, in on the puck, working it out, manning and quick sticks, get it back to the point. Then everybody get down to the front of the net. Corvo wrists it on in there, trying to look for a tip. Jelena does a pretty good job staying over top of Smith's stick, and there's Jansen right away, tying him up, but looking right at the referee to make sure he's not getting the penalty, saying, I'm here as a peacemaker, not trying to get any extra roughing for my team.
Paul McLean shifting the lines a bit as McCulloch drops down along with Pajot and Conacher. We saw Condra moving to a different line with Smith and Neal on that last shift, so the combinations change as they try and mount a comeback here in New Jersey tonight. Big lines out for the Devils. Zubris along with Zajac, and a goal scorer tonight, Jaromir Jagr. Long pass slides the length of the ice, and that's an icing call against New Jersey. Well, the most powerful weapon on the planet isn't a machine, it's a human. Josh Holloway stars in Intelligence. Special preview coming to CTV in January.
Chris, you talked about the lines getting juggled around. Clark MacArthur, who played so well with Turris and Ryan before getting shifted up to Jason Spezza's line, finds himself back with his regular two as Paul McLean's going back to what has worked before.
Face-off won by Zajac, but Ryan steals it back. Zajac comes across to take it away. They'll battle behind the net, centered by Ryan. And at the point, Derek Carlson. A pass that MacArthur unable to take cleanly, and now MacArthur reaching for that. It's out of his reach, and it's an icing call against Ottawa.
This line has been very quiet for Ottawa so far tonight. Kyle Turris had a breakthrough year hooking up with Bobby Ryan and has given the Ottawa Senators a reliable #1 line as Jason Spezza has rotated wingers. They need to get something going here, help their team get back into this game.
Face-off won by Ottawa, and Ryan's got it, flips it across, and here's Jared Cowan at center. Puts it on goal, and it's shoveled away by Brodeur. Stolen there by Ryan, couldn't get loose. Patrick Iliash in good defensive position for New Jersey. Now Fane ahead. Mark Fane over the line. Trying to drive through, and he shot it wide. It'll come back to the point, and Andy Green plays it around. Iliash on the far side. Centers it.
Too many men right now for Jersey. Too many men right now for Jersey. They missed that one as the refs got it late.
And not only that, I think they've got Ottawa as Brodeur left the net.
The problem is
extra attacker.
Ottawa takes a penalty after New Jersey had 6 guys on the ice. I don't think that'll get
Ottawa
negated.
number 65, 2 minutes for hooking.
That's unbelievable. That's as long as you'll see.
I mean, they had
men on the ice, and maybe that's why Carlson forced into scrambling to make a defensive play like that.
You know, it's definitely a hook there, but it's gonna be 4-on-4 as the too many men and the Carlson hook negate each other. But you see Jello trying to jump back over the bench, and as soon as you go back to the bench, you're gonna draw a penalty for sure. But if you're Ottawa, the case should be made. They got too many guys on the ice. Any penalty we take after the fact should be negated. So you have Steve Bernier over there to serve the too many men.
You're right, though. That was 6 guys actively involved. They had really no idea that there were too many there.
They had set up the triangle up top. Everyone getting in their one-timer position as 2 defensemen jumped for Mark Fane on the change.
It was 6 guys. They've got the double triangle going.
That's it.
Face-off one. 4 skaters aside. Nice kick save there by Leonard. Off the 4th shot of the game for the rookie John Merrill. So McCulloch and Spezza together. 4 aside. Patrick Iliash is on the ice, along with Zajac. So a couple of Peter DeBoer centers together. And a loose puck in front. It'll come back to Zajac. Wires it. And that's knocked down in front. That was blocked there. Mike, was that a stop by Leonard or a block in front?
The ricochet on down. It quite got to Robin Leonard, but hit the pile in front.
Now Spezza looks for it in the corner, but outstrides Iliash. He'll be going to the Olympic Games. Mentioned this morning that this compressed schedule for the 2nd straight year, he's looking forward to a non-lockout, non-Olympic schedule. It'll be sent in there by Weirkoch. Zubras trying to clear, and he does. Past the midway mark of this 2nd period, and Ottawa's been held to just 11 shots so far. So New Jersey playing Devils hockey here once again tonight. Zubras around behind the net, and now out, and away goes Yager. Yager on the right side, into the middle, into the skates of Zielinski. Curls back for Zubras. And now hands it to Gelatin, knocked off his stick by Weirkoch.
Smart play by Weirkoch there. Go to the poke check while staying on coverage.
Tell you, a couple of games this guy's caught my eye. Eric Gelatin, big defenseman. Offside on that rush. And will step out. It's a 3-1 Devils lead on TSN Wednesday Night Hockey. Profile is brought to you by Scotiabank. Tonight, the overtime hero from Monday night, it's Cody Ceci, and it's my guess, Mike, he's the only player in the NHL who has the team rug and a team Jumbotron light in his bedroom.
The bedroom that he still gets to live in while playing in the NHL. What a storybook start to his career it's been. And from Ottawa, drafted to play junior with the Ottawa 67s, drafted in the first round with his hometown Ottawa Senators, and gets his first goal at home, overtime, game winner with family and friends in tow. That's good stuff, and a good start for Cody Ceci.
And those friends were highly visible on Monday night.
He was taking some ribbing for having them in the stands.
Here's Carlson, winds, can't get it through the first time. The second time it's off the skate, and out comes New Jersey. A couple of blocks there by Big Steve Bernier, but it's turned back in, led by Carlson. Drops, and a shot goes high as Turris unable to hit the target on that dangerous rush. Chris Phillips takes a look. Devils were in the midst of a change. MacArthur unable to take it cleanly. And back on the counter comes Gruner. Into the middle, Laktianov on a backhand. On a good chance as Laktianov was in the slot. And now Carlson wheels away again. Hounded from the back, but gets it in deep. Bain takes Smith to the corner. Devils get control. And out wheels Andy Green. Got to center, gets it deep, and we're down to 8 minutes left here in the second period. But it's been a better middle frame for Ottawa. Creating power play goals, still down by 2, but starting to create more chances. Neal squeezed along the boards. And Reed Boucher will start back. Over the line, working against Corvo, who chops it off his stick. Spezza up ahead, and here comes Greening on his off wing, and he's ridden into the corner. There's Jelinek knocking him down and working him over. Puck came loose side of the net, and Zubris will pick it up. Danis Zubris swooping into Ottawa ice. Carlson leans on him. Good defensive play by Carlson to take it away. At the line, held in by Jelinek. It gets past Carlson. Yager walks in, can't pull the trigger. There's Zubris fighting for it in the corner. Zajac knocked off the puck, and Ottawa will start back. Zibanejad, a little indirect pass to himself, but he was slowed up, and that allowed Zidlinski. Lead feed, too far for Zubris at the end of a shift. Looks like he's out of the gas. A funny line from Yager, who likes to poke fun at his longtime teammate Danis Zubris, when Yager, who had not scored an 8, said Zubris should be a candidate for the Selke Award because he's shutting me down. Here's a hot shot by Ceci, and Elias will play it out. Up ahead, Ceci for Pajot. Pajot knocks down Merrill. Puck is loose. Conacher. And that feed to the point was intercepted. Back comes Henrique. And he lost it to the line as Conacher comes back quickly.
Pete DeBoer is not happy with these turnovers that the Devils are giving Ottawa at the offensive blue line.
Now Conacher to the attack over the line with Turris. Just 4 shots in the period. Now 5 for Ottawa. As the Devils send it out, Ceci flips it right back in on a guy twice his age.
And you see the danger in giving the puck to Marty Brodeur. You're not going to get a forecheck going if you put it into his gloves.
And Turris just in ahead of the play there. It's offside. It's 3-1 New Jersey here in Newark.
This has been hard to come by for both teams here in the second period, as it's been some pretty physical defensive play and a couple of good plays by defensemen. Look at Eric Jelinek here. Close, pivot, and finish. That is textbook stuff in your own end, and then pick the puck out of the pile and go the other way. Erik Karlsson does much the same in the other end, using his body to take it off Danis Zubris, as teams have had trouble finding any open ice.
As usual, Erik Karlsson pushing the attack and unable to get shots through, though, tonight. He has attempted 5 shots in the game, and all 5 have been blocked by the Devils. And the Devils not a team high in the shot block ranking. In fact, they're dead last. But they're paying attention to the most dangerous guy on the ice for Ottawa. Here's Gianta, who opened the scoring early in this game, short-handed. Weirkoch behind the net. It'll be taken away by Zubris, centered. And Bobby Ryan finds it in the Ottawa zone. On the tape ahead, MacArthur, Turris loose, quick shot. And a stop by Brodeur came out to cut off the angle. Ryan goes scrambling to the bench to make sure Ottawa is not caught with too many men. Sent in by MacArthur. Now he completes the change for Ottawa. Out comes Adam Henrique. Out of the reach of his line mate, and it's Cowan sending it ahead at center. Ricochets to Fane, chopped at by Conacher, and an offside is called.
He talked about Karlsson with 5 attempts and 5 blocks. Well, Steve Bernier, we showed him in the first period getting danced to the blue wing as he lunged at the puck. Watch him here in the high slot. This time, gets in the shooting lane and stops. He doesn't try to close out. Just hang in there. Make Karlsson bring the puck to you. He, in fact, gets 2 blocks on that play and a quick exit. A quick study is Steve Bernier realizing you're not going to win playing defense if you run at Erik Karlsson. Patience is key.
Bernier playing game number 499 in his career. Played under Peter DeBoer in Florida, now here in New Jersey. Lochtianov over the line for the Devils. That's knocked down by Conacher, but Lochtianov will get it back. Trying to flip in front, blocked again by Conacher. Lochtianov a third time with the puck, and there's Conacher again to intercept. Up off the boards, and he'll get it out. Under 4 minutes remaining. Here in the second period, the shots are 22-13 in favor of New Jersey. A 3-1 lead as Spezza drives it around. Greening looks for it on the far side. The Senator goal scorer has it knocked away. Bouncing puck held in by Phillips. Deep for Spezza. Plays it back to the veteran defenseman, and now to the rookie blue liner who whips it wide. Phillips again. Zibanejad one-hands it. Bernier there. Zibanejad got it back again. A lot of giveaways in this period by New Jersey. Loose in front, and Brodeur will glove it and hold it with a swipe from Spezza on the doorstep.
Spezza right on the back door, hoping the puck gets to him. As Colin Greeny brought some size to this line, and he's going right to the front of the net. Spez having trouble finding the net as of late. And right there, and you're asking Marty Brodeur right there, what is your glove doing on the ice to scrape that right off? And see the smile on Spezza, because most goalies don't have their gloves sitting on the ice, and yet Marty Brodeur reads the play, it's the place to be, and takes that sure goal away from Jason Spezza.
Asked Jason about playing Brodeur for maybe one of the last times in his career, and he mentioned that he's unorthodox like Dominik Hasek was. And that's just another reason that Marty Brodeur is so good. Look at that daring pass. Under pressure.
I was watching Marty Brodeur in warm-up though, and sits here on the sidewall right in front of me, and he throws saucer passes out to guys in stride, and he does it as well as anybody could on the ice with a regular stick.
There's Karlsson trying to take another shot that broke the stick of Elias, who blocked it. We played back to the point. Cowan with a sidestep, but the shot goes wide, and New Jersey will skate out. Flipped to the line, but cut off there as Karlsson got in the way, took it away from Bernier, got it to Turris, and a hot shot fought off there by Brodeur, one of his best saves of the night.
Erik Karlsson, key to the rush opportunities for Ottawa, jumping up the play, changes the numbers, pushes the defensive back. You see him right there, dance in the middle, kick it over to Turris, and Merrill's got a tough gap, and the quick release by Turris forces Brodeur to make another good save. As he's inside the top of the circle, he can score from that distance. Marty Brodeur has been sharp tonight.
Turris has never scored against New Jersey, which means he has not found a way to beat the future Hall of Famer yet. Weirkoch shot knocked down en route. He'll get another chance. And that one ends up in the corner. Under 2 minutes left here in the second. Senators need one to get within one. Wiercioch, great pass, outlet, and away goes Spezza with great speed, and then cut off by Green, as it looked like Spezza had a step. Good burst by Spezza, but Green recovered just in the nick of time after that fine pass by Wiercioch. An outlet here, and that time Jelena stepped up on Zibanejad. They'll try and work out again, and that pass intercepted. Look out. Jelena's got a blast. Knocked down in front. That one hit Wiercioch in front of the net.
He's still stinging from that one.
Jelena can really let it rip.
And you can only hope that caught Wiercioch in the equipment. And if he wants right now, he could probably take the rest of this period off and head to the bench as an injury, as he's going to. Heading right to me. He's got a big black puck mark in his chest. Right there. Wow. Yeah, you see his hand going up his shirt to show exactly where it was. Oh my goodness. Glancing blow. Your protection
dangerous stuff.
Is not that thick at that part of your shoulder pad. And he's feeling that one. He'll have a nice bruise tomorrow.
The final minute here in the second period. And the Senators get a late one here. Cowan holds the zone. Brodeur out. Plays it to the boards. Jelena with a bump on Smith, but Zach Smith working along the boards. Gets it to Neal. And there is Pajot. Chris Neal behind the net, trying to swivel off Zidlinski. Centered it. Nobody there, and it'll get flipped out by Eliash. Now a race for it. Bruner with the steal. Bruner in. What a goal! Damian Bruner. Talked about streak scores this morning. 4th in 4 games for Bruner. And Paul McLean wonders again why there wasn't a penalty. That's the second time in the game he has questioned a Devils goal because of it.
And right there you see the slash on the hands of Cowan. Knocks the stick right out of his hands for the breakaway. But what a finish by Bruner. Right there is the slash. We see that called all the time. But how about the finish? We've seen a lot of the Forsberg going on lately around the NHL, and Bruner, he even had to check the referee to see that there was no call before he celebrated. But that is a huge goal. As in the silent protest, Paul McLean doesn't get a line out there in time. And the Corvo one absolutely should have been a penalty on Boucher's goal. And that one right there is another very questionable non-call on the Devils.
Denny Leroux and Trent Knorr are going to be off the Christmas card list. Unassisted. Well, now they're giving an assist to Eliash on the goal. So Bruner with his 8th. He had a pair, including the game winner on Saturday night against Tampa.
Whistle blows. The net was off down behind Marty Brodeur, and he was reading the play, deciding whether or not he wanted to put it back on, depending where the puck was. Waited for it to get in the offensive zone, and the ref blow it down. You see Chris Phillips still with Denny Leroux in the neutral zone right on the center ice line, having a long debate about the merits of that non-call. Robin Leonard not happy about it. All across the entire Ottawa bench, they are hot right now.
So 2 of the goals and the penalty after an extended period of time with New Jersey having 6 men on the ice.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a lot to chew on for Ottawa here through 40 minutes tonight. And from the face-off, the puck sent out, but that last goal by Bruner changes the complexion, and now the gloves will come off here. Volchenkov and MacArthur. So the former Senator and one of the newer Senators get involved at the horn.
Volchenkov didn't like to hit late in the period just as the buzzer expired, and MacArthur showing some frustration, dropped his glove right away. Going after Volchenkov.
So the teams traded power play goals in the period, and then that last minute goal by Damian Bruner. And it's a 3-goal New Jersey lead after 40 minutes. Here's how the period finishes with MacArthur and Volchenkov. Wonder if they'll be dueling on the panel when we come back. Before we go back over what happened to MacArthur, Paul McLean, Mike, was out waiting for Denny LaRue long before this period would start.
Yeah, he was not happy, and he's still engaged. And you saw frustrations boil over for Clark MacArthur. Finishes a check late. That's due to frustration. Drops his gloves right away to Volchenkov. Volchenkov turns around, squares up, but doesn't really do much other than hold on. And after all that mess, Clark MacArthur picks up 4 minutes of penalties, and the Senators will start down a man for the first 4 minutes of this third period. And that concludes about a 2-minute conversation between Paul McLean and Denny LaRue, as McLean was voicing the frustration his entire team was feeling after what they think has been several missed calls or calls that have gone in Jersey's favor in tonight's game.
So a couple of controversial goals by New Jersey tonight. Ottawa strongly feeling penalties should have been called, and it's a little bit of deja vu for the Senators, who had a similar circumstance in a recent game against the Philadelphia Flyers. With Brian Murray, the general manager, up here at a discussion with Bill McCurry, who was one of the supervisors here tonight. Here's Jagr, and a quick pass in front is sent wide by Elias as the Devils start the third period on the power play. They have one tonight. A hot shot by Zidlinski, knocked down in front. Looked like that hit Cowan. And Carlson battle for the puck both in the corner, and it comes to Cowan, and he'll get a chance to clear. And that was knocked down by Elias and finally batted away by Eric Condra. Eric Zidlinski defers, and it'll be Big John Merrill striding out. Got to the red line, flips it in. First man on it is Bruner. 4 goals now in as many games for Damian Bruner, who had an extended drought of 17. Back the other way, McCulloch, nice cutback inside, and chopped off his stick at the last second. McCulloch after it in the corner against Jelena. And now New Jersey gains possession, and away goes Adam Henrique. Right side rider, looks for Henrique, and that's off the side of the net. Chris Phillips unable to come up with it, but the point feed all the way back into the New Jersey zone.
Even this may end up being a good kill for Ottawa for a full 4 minutes. You're still taking away 20% of this third period that you need the time to come back in.
Elias drops it back. Zidlinski moves to the middle of the ice. Sends it back for the veteran Elias. Spinning at the top of the circle. Off of Zajak's stick. He goes after it. Loose in front, and Andy Green is there. Pajot and Greening, the penalty-killing tandem. Played in for Elias with some room. A shot going on as Jagr looked for the tip. Jagr parks in front again. Jaromir Jagr scoring his first power play goal of the season tonight. Peter DeBoer asked about that today. Said they were looking for different spots for Jagr and Elias to set up. Here's Elias with the shot, and Leonard able to stop that and hold on with Jagr on the doorstep.
It's a good save there and seal it under his pad as Elias lets the shot go from the half wall. But if you want to see Jaromir Jagr score, it's not about getting him in different spots. It's about trying to tell him to shoot more often. Already in tonight's game, he's had the puck 5-on-5 and on the power play in several good scoring places, and yet he's elected to try to find that perfect next pass. And so if Pete DeBoer wanted to score more, he'd have to try to change his mindset a little bit, which might be tough. The 41-year-old, he's got 693 goals now.
He picks his spots.
Doesn't want to hurt his shooting percentage.
Their face-off won by the Senators as they send it down the ice. 2.5 minutes into this second period and into that double minor for Clark MacArthur. Senators have Florida tomorrow. The Panthers coming off a win in Toronto and waiting in the nation's capital. Steve Bernier back in his own zone. 1 minute left in the MacArthur penalties as that puck gets flipped up. into the bench. Let's check in with James Duthie, who has an update. He was just building a little drama there.
I was curious as to who scored.
Here comes Bruner wheeling in again. We're not putting James to sleep, are we? Hope not. Zidlinsky firing it, and a glove stop by Leonard, who sprawls to knock it to the corner. Marek Zidlinsky across for Green, and that shot off a stick goes high. Into the corner, Ryder will cycle it for Henrique, and Spezza there to take it away for Ottawa. And MacArthur getting set to return in 15 seconds. But back in comes the Devils. And Ryder hit and knocked down. Good play by Phillips. Ryder and Phillips holding onto the same stick, and wasn't sure who was the guilty party, but it was Ryder who gets away with one. And now MacArthur returns, and Ottawa back at full strength. Wanted to replicate the intensity of Monday night in St. Louis, but they were really put back on their heels early in this game on the shorthanded goal by Gionta, and really have been fighting uphill ever since. Jagr trying to work his way back in with Zubas. Around it goes. Green after it against Bobby Ryan. Andy Green in deep. There's Dainis Zubas. He'll leave it for Jagr. Gives it back to Zubas. Phillips had tracked him up high. And now Zajac from the corner. Got away from Corvo. Winnipeg native Travis Zajac, and Corvo came back to take it away from him. Zubas pinned by Phillips. Jagr gives it back. Phillips to Merrill. And that shot knocked down en route to a breakaway pass from Turris, and he failed to hit Mark MacArthur. Zubas through center. Over the line, Andre Laktianov off the bench. A quick shot there by Merrill. And Robin Leonard's got that.
Kyle Turris right beside me, still looking for his glove as he gets caught playing. There it is, bare hand. He gets caught playing down low, gets Jaromir Jagr with one glove on his stick, on his hand, and that's not an easy task, trying to hang in there, battle, and you lose all kind of strength, and you're trying to protect the hand as well, and he's grabbing on a Jagr stick a little bit, anything you can do to get by, and he does a pretty good job with it. Stays on the inside, doesn't really get out-muscled. Eventually picks off a pass and just misses Clark MacArthur for the breakaway.
Colin Grading has the goal for Ottawa tonight. He's on the ice with Chris Neal and Zach Smith, and here's Greening with it. Hacked at there by Zidlinsky, knocked down, plays it back into the corner. Zidlinsky hit hard there by Smith. Michael Ryder in to help out, and they get it to center. Reed Boucher gets around Karlsson, walking in, and a shoulder stop there by Leonard on a dangerous attack by Boucher, who pulled away that time from Erik Karlsson, and that doesn't happen very often.
Oh, good strength here, and right there he gets inside position, knocks Karlsson off stride, and Karlsson, who is so fast, doesn't close on him, as Boucher shows the good first 3-4 strides of a good goal scorer. Puck never settles down, and he eventually chips it up short side, but you like to see the burst that Karlsson couldn't close on him that quickly.
From the face-off, puck knocked out to center and sent back in by Fane. 6 minutes into this third period. Here's Corvo. McCulloch ahead. Flipped in by Spezza. McCulloch goes after it against Andy Green. Last time in, Peter DeBoer telling us how steady Green is and how underrated as well. Feels that he should be under consideration for the U.S. Olympic team and wasn't even asked to go to the World Championships last year. But the Devils' best, there's a shot that Brodeur handles. And Bernier will play it out to center ice.
That's shocking. I know U.S. has a lot of good defensemen, a lot of good young players, but you can't convince me that Andy Green's not good enough to play on the World Championship team from last year.
Here's Pajot. His shot, the rebound. Ottawa can't come up with it. Condra goes after it, but the Devils quickly get it out to center. Conacher at the line. Following up was Pajot, but unable to break through. And there's Volchenkov. The left wing pass, and Devils get it deep. Bernier on the forecheck. Phillips reversing it to Cody Ceci. Young kid who has killed penalties, power play, overtime. Here's Turris working his way into the side of the net. Ryan with a whack at it. Jared Cowan moves up, and we've got a delayed penalty against New Jersey. And just a second shy of 7.5 minutes into the third. Ottawa power play when we come back.
Penalty to Zidlicky here as he gets walked to the inside by Kyle Turris. Nice move, full head of steam, and dances him, putting the Ottawa Senators back on the power play with 12.5 left. If they have any plans on getting themselves back in this game, got to start with the power play goal right here.
Third power play of the night for Ottawa, 1 for 2. A goal by Colin Greening on a deflection of a Mika Zibanejad shot. They're both out with Jason Spezza getting set to take the drop. Weirkosh and Carlson as Spezza directs traffic, and Weirkosh now poised at the top of the circle, and it's pulled right back there. Face-off win. Spezza chopped it in front. Devils get a stick on it and get it out. Again, the captain without a goal in his last 11. He does have 8 assists in that span. And he gathers speed but misses the pass. And New Jersey sends them back.
Another time when, that time Jason Spezza trying to step to the inside on this pass to the wing. Take it wide like that.
Now he's got it. One shot off a stick goes wide of the net, and it'll be rolled back down by Henrique. Erik Karlsson, who has chalked up his 32nd point for the season, starts the rush. And it's taken away by Green and fired back inside Ottawa ice. And the first minute of this power play's done. Weirkosh and McCulloch will split the D. McCulloch in! Backhand scores! It's a beauty! Power play goal for Milan McCulloch.
Wow. What a goal by Milan McCulloch, who's had some jump tonight for Ottawa. And a beautiful finish. Neutral zone play, not much going on. New Jersey right where they want to be. Splits the defense, Spain there, and then gets the step on Volchenkov. Doesn't have the angle to close him down right there. Look at the burst and the strength and the finish right under the bar by Milan McCulloch, who just gets his second goal in the last 14 games. And that's what Ottawa's been looking for from him.
Funny though, Mike, some players just like playing against some teams. Not many will say they don't mind playing New Jersey, but for McCulloch, that's 8 goals in 15 games against the Devils. Boy, that's Gretzky-like, isn't it?
That is not. You're right, though. New Jersey's a team where everyone's going to say, I don't like playing against them because of their defensive track record.
Well, it's the second power play goal for Ottawa, and with 9 minutes into the third period, they're within 2. There was a pass by Neal picked off. Away goes Elias along with Bruner. 3 men in the rush, and it bounced on Bruner. And Jelena tried to feed it back to the winger. Now a pass for Jelena. He scores! Jelena gets it right back for New Jersey. That's the kind of night it's been for Ottawa.
See the quick release, a 3-on-2 developing here. Probably not a great decision by Bruner to go back to Jelena to begin with, but it goes right back around. Bruner back out to Jelena, skate to stick to post to twine. And you see the quick release and strong wrists of Jelena right here. Not an easy play, puck way in front of him, tough to get a lot on it. But he rips it up and over. That is heavy. And as we've been marveling at him whenever you see him live, when you watch him on TV, word has got to spread pretty quickly. One of the best shooters in the NHL from the point.
Big young defenseman who can really let it fly. And he has his 4th goal of the year. Only Torrey Krug has been a more dangerous scoring rookie defenseman than Big Jelena. Now a penalty upcoming against Ottawa. Joe Corvo is going to head off. The New Jersey Centers, a shot by Ryder knocked down. And play has finally been halted. And Corvo will be headed to the penalty box. Fresh off the Jelena goal that makes it 5-2. Power play upcoming for New Jersey.
Corvo to the box as he gets caught on the cross check here on Boucher. Boucher goes to stop right there and he finishes him in the numbers. Knocks him over. And again, I don't think he's looking to cross check him there. Boucher stops up, tries to reverse directions, and Corvo gets his stick caught too high in the back. Got to go lower, push him in the hips. That way he won't crash in head first. You can avoid the cross-checking penalty. And Paul McLean giving the silent treatment right now to the referees.
Chris Phillips off that face-off with it, and a backhand out to center where Spezza's on the ice, and they'll move it forward here. Here's Jason Spezza testing Brodeur, and he'll hold on. And we'll get a chance to check back in with James. James, are you there? And here a face-off in the New Jersey zone. And from the draw, it comes out to center. Phillips on it. And Ottawa will have to take some chances, even though they are shorthanded. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. You see what they have out there. Spezza and McCulloch, 2 offensive-minded players. If they can get something going, any kind of break, blow the zone, they will be encouraged to.
But here's Jagr back in. Zajac shot. That went wide. Jagr will center, and now Kyle Turris is out, and away goes Turris. Zajac trying to track him. Zidlinsky back in defensive position as Turris whips it right on. So a couple of shots and almost a turnover, but Turris lost his footing, and Zajac moves it ahead. There's Clark MacArthur and Zajac to the boards. And Ottawa will fire it down. 9 minutes left, 3rd period. And Joe Corvo with 50 seconds remaining in his penalty. There's the other big, young rookie defenseman. John Merrill starts the play. Bruner to the attack. Bruner dashing in and a sprawling defensive play by Karlsson. Now he may join the rush. Across for Karlsson, over the line, and that pass is turned over. And now they got to get back. It's a 2-on-1 Ryder. He curls up. Adam Henrique. And there is a pass back to Henrique, and he couldn't reach it as John Merrill tried to set him up in front.
The right idea, though. Don't think you have to overhandle it. The quick one-touch pass to Henrique gets him the puck down on the goal line where he wants it.
Jersey has 1 power play goal tonight. That by Jagr, his first of the year. Jelena almost slipped right through again. And Ottawa on the counter, led by Wierkosh over the line, and the play was offside as it was Pajot just a step ahead. Scotiabank Wednesday Night Hockey on TSN, brought to you by Scotiabank. You're richer than you think. Back here in New Jersey, the penalty to Corvo has been killed. 8:02 remaining. Milan McCulloch gave Paul McLean's crew a brief spark in this third, but a quick response by Eric Jelena less than a minute later. Goals coming 45 seconds apart. And Mike, we're not going to make excuses for the Senators, but we will report, at least you will, that Marc Methot may not be the only guy that's been under the weather for Ottawa of late.
Yeah, you're wondering why maybe Ottawa looks a little lethargic, a little slow. Well, the flu bug, which a lot of teams have to deal with this time of year. Marc Method has missed a few games, although he's healthy now, has found its way to about 4 or 5 other Ottawa Senators with varying degrees of seriousness. And so dealing with that, trying to play an NHL hockey game, not an easy thing to do, and Ottawa Senators are showing that tonight.
Here's Ryan sending it in front of the net. Spezza looking for it. And now New Jersey up with it, and Ryder skating away. Tracked there by MacArthur. Dropped off and sit on net by Boucher, and there's Karlsson to pick it off. Erik Karlsson through center. And now curls back. Loktionov in slipstream. And Loktionov causes the turnover. Ryder's shot doesn't get to the net. Blocked by Cowan. Anton Volchenkov. And now it's Elias playing it in behind the net. Off Elias, nearly ricocheted in front for a chance, but Ottawa gets control and away they go. Condra to the line and over, but the Devils able to bat it right back out. Volchenkov plays it inside the Ottawa line. 6:06 remaining here in the third period. Cody Ceci to work. Here's Ceci working over the line. His shot on Brodeur is stopped. And a rebound. Fired around, knocked down by Phillips. No, he can't knock it down, and bounced over his stick and out to center, and then off the skate of Ceci and all the way back in behind Robin Lehner. Again, Florida awaits tomorrow night. The 3rd and 4 for this Ottawa team that is missing a chance to move within 1 of Toronto. Now Zubras cutting in. Stopped up there as he was wrestled to the ice. Yager curls and Zubras continues to battle along with Karlsson. Karlsson hacking and whacking at him. Check that, that's Conacher going at Dainis Zubras. Zubras without a helmet now, and they're still swinging down there. Puck loose for Zidlinsky. Here's Zidlinsky trying to swoop in. A pass for Zajac, who went by the net. Leonard hadn't got across, but Zajac's momentum took him behind the net. Marek Zidlinsky. And now it's Andy Green played for the tip, and it deflects in on Robin Lehner. Corey Conacher, a little football tackle on Dainis Zubras. Former of the game is brought to you by GMC Sierra.
And it is the very speedy and very effective Damien Brunner, who has been causing Ottawa trouble all night with his speed. Gets away with one maybe late in that period, but that was really the goal, and a beauty that salted it away for New Jersey. Picks up another point here in the third period, and Damien Brunner, who went 17 games without a goal, now has got 4 in his last 4 games.
He and Michael Ryder added to replace the scoring from the departed Ilya Kovalchuk. He started off well, 3 in his first 5, but that lengthy drought. Some guys are just streak scorers. Michael Ryder and Damien Brunner fit that category. Were you a streak guy, or?
Always streaking the wrong way. But you know what? They're streak scorers. Michael Ryder played with them as well, and at the end of the year, they still end up with their 20, 25, 30 goals. So goals are goals, however they come. Coaches would like them to be a little bit more consistent, but 80-game season, they're effective over the course of it.
By contrast, Bobby Ryan, who leads Ottawa with 16. There's a broken stick for Cowan. That stick went flying. Ryan has not gone more than 4 games without scoring a goal in his first season in Ottawa. That's the consistency you really want.
That's the one the coaches love. They know game in, game out. You won't go too long. But hey, those guys are hard to come by, and it's tough scoring goals even when you're talented as guys like Brunner and Mike Ryder.
Looking back on Michael Ryder scoring the last couple of years ignite. Here's a chance in for MacArthur, stopped by Marty Brodeur. There's vintage Brodeur robbing Clark MacArthur point blank range. Well, he hasn't been overly busy tonight, but he gives you a chance to see the Hall of Fame credentials. And the crowd chanting Marty here at the Rock. Over the line, Henrique. And it's offside.
You're right, not too busy, just 23 shots on net so far, but a great chance here for Clark MacArthur. And look at the feed here by Jason Spezza. Little touch pass right in the wheelhouse, tries to go the other way, and Marty Brodeur, you never know what you're going to get out of him. Kind of a butterfly, but not really. Tough to get a book on what to expect when you get in tight with Marty Brodeur because he gives you so many different looks.
Looking for win number 10 on the year. Zach Smith charging in. There's a hit by Neal on Volchenkov. And the puck rolls back down into the Ottawa zone for Chris Phillips. That pass by Ceci off a leg to the corner. Bruner's on it. Zubras trying to come out. Now Phillips under duress, and the Devils continue to bottle Ottawa up. Zubras to the point. Here's Volchenkov's shot. That was blocked en route. Yeah, that may have stung Ceci. Looks like he's hobbled a bit by that shot off his skate. Another pass by Brodeur to start a rush. There's Zubras turning, looking back to the point. Off the bench comes Green. Flips it in on Leonard. And Carlson up with the rebound. Under 2 to go. Jared Cowan straight ahead. Over the line, swings wide. Banks the pass to the near side. Conacher played it in behind the net. And now gloves it back down. Tried to spin away, but Yager was there, and Zubras out to center. 23 shots on goal for Ottawa. New Jersey number 1 in the league, allowing on average 24.5, lowest total in the NHL per game. And an icing call against New Jersey. Canada's road to gold begins on Friday with their first pre-competition matchup as they take on Finland. You can catch the game live on TSN beginning at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific.
Tune in, just see how Connor McDavid fares in his next big stage. Yet to disappoint on any level. What he can do against World Junior competition.
From the face-off, played back to the point. Brodeur with a stop, and Zubras able to fight off a check to get it down the ice. Steven Gianta's out. Hasn't played a whole lot in his return from a sprained ankle, but made an impact quickly in this game. That shorthanded goal right off the hop. Cam Janssen and Gianta work it out in the final minute here. Janssen sends it to the net. 3 goals for Janssen in his first 312 NHL games. He has 3 this year. And a hand pass will stop play in the Ottawa zone.
Ottawa trying to build off, hoping to build off a very good game against St. Louis. Overtime win, and Paul McLean, understand it's been a tough night. Some tough calls, some sick players. But he's also realistic, and he says, you know, 30, 35 games, at some point you are what your record says you are. And right now, the Senators are good at times and inconsistent all the time.
Who gets the worst of his rap tonight? His players or the referees?
Well, I mean, I think he might channel some of it at the referees initially, but it doesn't take away the fact that New Jersey's been the better team in this game.
Phillips a shot, and that hit traffic in front. Spezza tied up, and here's Ryan.
There,
After the whistle with Big Jelena.
Chris Phillips tying up Cam Janssen, making sure that he doesn't get a hold of any of the skill guys that Ottawa's get out there. They got Spezza and MacArthur, and they don't want Cam Janssen getting a hold of any of those guys. Chris Phillips wisely gets in there for the bear hug. And Denny LaRue is going to get them right out of the game just to make sure that nothing can happen here in the last 25 seconds.
Ryan still debating the issue with Jelena. These two teams won't see each other again till April the 10th in the nation's capital, and It might be the last time that Ottawa fans will see Marty Brodeur, although that's not official yet.
He's still showing he can play. No doubt about that. So it'll be up to him. Pete DeBoer's got his team as the buzzword of the day, as you said, traction. Both teams have been searching for it for a long time. And New Jersey thinking that they've survived that difficult portion of their schedule and have a chance to get something going here before Christmas.
Misconduct's given to Clark MacArthur for 14 penalty minutes for him tonight, and to Cam Janssen. That puck, a souvenir into the stands here. New Jersey will move to 14, 15, and 6. It was a chance for Ottawa to get to 500. They were 14, 15, and 6. But they will lose for the 16th time this season. Always get the debate about whether that's 500 or not, but Ottawa had the chance to get 35 points in 35 games, but that won't happen. They squander the opportunity tonight, and it's New Jersey that will win 2 in a row as they post a 5-2 victory on home ice. The night started poorly for Paul McLean. That shorthanded goal by Gionta got it started. A couple of power play goals for the Devils. And they go on to post a 5-2 win. That's the story from the Rock. So long, everybody. SportsCenter coming up next with Jennifer Hedges.